Hi, welcome back to the Torah of Shem weekly series, Wednesday night, date of the 13th of Yanuar in Hebrew for January. We're going to teach tonight about witchcraft. What is kishuf, witchcraft in the Torah? A lot of controversies are going around. There's a lot of strange things in the air. You can blame the internet for that. A lot of people have been known to do that. But we're going to try to stop pointing fingers and blame. Remember, the Torah of Shem Wednesday night series is a throwback to the Torah of Job. And remember, our number one premise of Job is don't point fingers and don't blame, right? Drop the anger and try to see through and get to the light. And whenever we do the Torah of Shem, you should always have the Torah of Job in the back of your mind. Because the Torah of Shem is coming to clarify and bring a revelation that you are missing, and that's why you had the Job experience, right? What was Job? Job didn't have a revelation, did he? That's why he was all upset. One or two. Job thought he understood the world. You guys with me here? And you could even say Job's problem was he was giving svara. Can't you say that? Right? Job is saying, I know it all, and I've been down this road before. And his friends are his Facebook friends. Oh, Job, you're just speaking Lashon Hara. Oh, you think you know it all. They were all on Facebook together. And then at the end, Job got his big Torah of Shem moment. Right? They got the revelation, it came clear, and Job was happy in the end. And the friends disappeared. So you can see Facebook exists metaphysically in a kind of a strange, analogous way, right? Therefore, our class on Wednesday nights is Torah of Job. To come to, and for those that understand my Mishlei class, to come into Wednesday night with some fog, right? Be a little bit foggy and groggy, not really know what's going on, have some anger issues, right? Have it. It's okay, right? Understand who you're pointing the finger at and blame. And you saw before I came on the record button, I stated my anger issues and my finger pointing and my blame game, right? We all have it. It's just the way it is. Because until you get the revelation of the Torah of Shem, you're going to have issues. Lack of revelation is anger. What is lack of revelation? You're devoid of knowledge of God. What is idolatry? Anger. What is idolatry? Lack of God. What is the point of the Job series? To get through your issues, right? When my Mishlei class, I talk about driving school. Would you say I was angry for having to be in driving school? One or two. Was there God in my driving school? I think if you look back in my photos from like a year ago, you'll see, I think I even tweeted or, not tweeted, but Facebook posted, right? I don't think there's God in here. It was like Gehenna. I think I posted those were my exact words. I'm in Gehenna. Save me. Right? Sami, the driving instructor. It was horrible. It was horrible. When Israel goes bad, man, it goes real bad. So, yeah, it's not exactly a base medrash, right? But I prevailed. I showed the way to prevail, right? You gotta toughen up. You gotta wake up, and you gotta find the wisdom, even if you're in Gehenna, just like Job was. Did anybody suffer more than Job? One or two. It's not like you're feeling great and you're saying, hey, I feel great. Let's go against God today. No one says that. Job got hit with some serious stuff. Let's see you handle what Job went through. You guys want to do that? You want to have your kids die and stuff? No one wants that. I mean, come on. Job paid the price. That's like one of the only parts in the entire Torah where Satan is named by name. The Satan went on Job. Do you realize what that is? God told Satan, go to Job. No, thank you. So, yeah, Job had a good reason for being a little upset, right? And his friends didn't have the compassion. And they're saying on Facebook to Job, you speak lashon hara, Job, so to speak. In the end, Job got his revelation. And didn't you feel the peace and serenity of Job at the end of Job when he got all of his stuff back and he lived a long life? One or two. Did you feel good about Job? At the very end, he got his stuff back. He got God. He had his Torah of Shem moment. I'm not saying it's good to be angry, but the fact is it's a reality. When God conceals his face from you and beats you up a little bit, you're going to feel a little bit upset. You're going to want to blame and want to point that finger. It's called the Yetzer Hara. That's why God gave the Torah and revelation of the Shekhinah and all these things, that you can get over your pain and you can praise God when you get through it. And then you realize, that too was God putting me through a little episode. And you try to be strong for the next time and trust God so you don't have to go into areas of struggle. It's just kind of being honest and authentic with your humanity. I mean, we could all paint the picture that we're a warrior and we never get angry, never get upset. The fact is, some things bother us. And even if you're strong now, the famous saying, if you think you're enlightened, go hang out with your family for a week and tell me how enlightened you are. One or two. So those people will get you angry. You know what I'm saying? You're fine with your full lotus position in the forest, meditating on God, right? Oh, you're feeling serenity now. Go hang out with your siblings and your parents, and then come back and tell me how enlightened you are. So life has its ways. You can't escape your youth. You have scars from your youth. That's how God made it. Your first 40 years, according to King David, is just PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. That really is the first 40 years of your life. Just getting beat up. And then the next 40 years, you're supposed to repair it, move on, and grow wisdom. But, man, the first 40 is PTSD. You're just getting beat up. Hey, welcome, Lars. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm getting ready to hit my 42 in a couple of years. I'm looking forward to it. I've had enough of being beat up. Anyways, so tonight is going to be, that's awesome. Please let me know how that goes. I mean that. Therefore, tonight we're going to do Kishuv Pam. I did see your question. I will spell it when I get into the Talmud. And we're going to open up the Talmud in a second. So it's going to be witchcraft. What is it, right? And again, this will all make sense why I chose that topic. I don't even know if witchcraft is a good definition. That might be another one of these Gary equals convert, Witchcraft may be like the worst translation possible. But the word in Hebrew is kishuv. And I will spell it. We're going to get into it in a second. But before I do, last week we talked about Sinai and the Garam of Sinai, one or two. So those that are going to hear what I'm about to say, what I'm about to say would or should be copied and pasted to the very end of last week's discussion. I just didn't think of it in time. So now, this is Svara. We already brought the sources last week, so now I'm going to bring a good Svara. And a real Svara, not all Svara is bad, but a real Svara is then no longer called Svara. It's called Machshava, a thought, right? A real thought, as opposed to a educated guess. We proved last week in sources that Garam were at Sinai, one or two. And we opened up the Art Scroll Rashi translation, and we showed how Art Scroll kept true to itself and was off by about 5 degrees east, right? Every time. Then the question, one of the questions I did not answer, we ran out of time, where did Rashi get his commentary from about the waters of Mara? I did find that about 5 minutes after class. There's a Gemara, I think, in Horayos, if I remember correctly. it was 8b, if I remember correctly. If I can check that source if you'd like. The Talmud says that at the waters of Mara, 10 mitzvot were given at that time. And the 10 are not the 10 commandments. It's explicit. This is Mara. And it's the 7 mitzvot of Noach, and then the 3 additional mitzvahs that we said. So Rashi was true to himself. He was copying and pasting from that Gemara, 1 or 2. Then I thought with Pam Rogers a nice idea. How many of you are aware of the Rambam and his laws of how do you make a kosher Noahide today? You guys know this law? How do you make a kosher Noahide? He has to accept the laws of Noah as Moses taught them at Sinai, 1 or 2. All right. Now, that means, by definition, that Moses taught the laws of Noah at Sinai. Is that correct? Now, do not get bogged down in semantics and terminology, okay? And the person I'm referring to knows exactly who I'm talking to. Is that right? Type 1 or 2, if you know who you are. We are calling Jewish people Jews. We're not talking the tribe of Judah here, okay? Jewish people are commanded in 6:13. Is that correct? 1 or 2. And though Jewish people at Sinai were taught and commanded in 6:13 by Moses. Do not hit me on semantics here. We're trying to prove a bigger picture. 1 or 2. But the Rambam is trying to tell me that Moses was at Sinai and taught the 7 laws of Noah. Did the Rambam say that? So what happened? Who did Moses? If there's a precedent of Moses teaching the 7 laws of Sinai, and if I'm going to become a ger Noahide today, I have to take on the 7 laws as Moses taught them at Sinai, and Moses taught the Jews 6:13. Then who, pray tell, did Moses teach the 7 laws to at Sinai? That's right. This is where Svara becomes a good makshava. You understand? Sinai was the template for all of Jews and all of Gerim. Right? A Jew is going to say that I have 6:13 based on the episode of Sinai. Right? Every Jew on the planet will tell you that. But nobody ever thinks to say that who did Moses teach the 7 to in order to make an eternal Noahide. He certainly didn't teach the Jews. Right? So where did it come from? And as we said last week, there were Gerim and Jews on together at Sinai. And now, if I had just taught this alone, that would be a svara, and a very weak svara. But last week, we brought it in sources directly. So those listening to this, listen to last week, where we brought the sources, which the sources are enough. But with this svara on top of the sources, it fits pretty good. Right? It really shows what the Rambam meant, and it just makes it kind of all gel together. Is that clear? Is that a clear thought now? From the idea of who was at Sinai, why there were 2 at Sinai, right? The nature of their mission, why they became what they became. You know, it's just 2 paths within God. You know, some people just don't want to move this way. They want to move that way. It's up to you. God gave you free will choice. Otherwise, you know what? There's my next logical argument. If you don't say this, then God didn't give you choice, did he? God didn't give free will. If there's no free will, then the whole Torah is false. So, therefore, there's free will. If you guys want to follow along, you can find your own link on Google. You want to turn to Sanhedrin 67a. I don't have any link that I prefer. Okay? But if you want to follow along, just do a Google search on Rabbi Google. To, wait a minute, is it A or B? 1 second. No, it's B. I'm sorry about that. 67B. Okay? They come up in a lot. There's a lot of English sites you can go to. So just type in Sanhedrin 67B, and you should be able to catch up. Okay? Everyone ready to go? I'm using English to start things off, just so we can have a uniform start. Okay? And then we're going to go into the Hebrew. Can I go ahead and start? 1 or 2? All right. Let's roll. Now, again, this is Kishuf, witchcraft. And you know what? I'm going to throw in a bonus question, okay? Because I really don't think witchcraft is the right word. I think this is Ger equals convert being put on us. When you hear the definition, you'll understand why I say that. The mission statement should be, I want to reestablish what Kishuf is in English. Maybe it is witchcraft. I don't know. But I don't think it is. Okay. So our goal should be, if we're going to have a really nice goal, let's try to get a new English word for witchcraft. Agreed? Because when you tell somebody, Rabbi such and such is a little dodgy, and you say that's witchcraft, sounds a little extreme, doesn't it? Sounds pretty extreme. Give you 1 or 2 on that one. You guys with me? Everybody here? All right. Maybe it's the right word. Maybe I'm just being a little funny, but I don't know. I don't like that word, and I don't know what it means. I don't even know what witchcraft is. It sounds like Harry Potter, and I don't think people have broomsticks and wands. So here we go. This is Sanhedrin, and we're going to start. I don't know if you guys are following along in your Rabbi Google search. I'll tell you where I'm at. I am at Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says, why is it called Kishuf? Is anybody with Rabbi Google? Give me a 1 if you're with Rabbi Google right now. So we got Lars. Okay. Anyways, you got Rabbi Katz here, so no worries. There's something called Kishuf. Pam Rogers, write this down. Kaf, not Kuf. Kaf, Shin, Pei, Yud, Mem. Keshafim. Keshafim. Pam, are you good? Okay. Let me open up my good Talmud here. I'm going to give you now the sources of Kishuf in the Torah. Does that interest you, Pam Rogers? Look up, everybody. If you have a Chumash, open it up. Open it up. And you're going to turn to Exodus chapter 7, verses 11 and 22. Is that affirmative? Everybody with me? Okay. Again, I want to save time. So just go ahead and scan over those verses. You see it? It's Egypt and Pharaoh and some witchcraft stuff. The sorcerers, again, gear equals convert. I'm not impressed. I'm really not impressed. Gear equals convert, sorcerer, witchcraft, Harry Potter. All right, let's try to take out the art scroll fantasy and try to get into some reality, right? That's very good. Wise men. So that means what happens today if you have wise men that are a little bit off? It doesn't mean they're not wise men, which means the test is all the more so a tough test. All right? Here we go. So let me read it. Just read it in English so you can understand the English better than my, because my English is going to be straight from the Hebrew. Rabbi Yochanan said, why are they by the way, trick question. Can a Noahide learn this material? I'm phrasing it that way on purpose. Why? Can a Noahide learn this material? Some people say yes, some people say no. Why can a Noahide, yes or no, learn this material? Well, no, practice is different. No one's allowed to do witchcraft. I'm asking, why are we allowed to learn this? Why is this not forbidden what I'm teaching you? They'll say you can't teach the non-Jews Talmud. They can't teach a Noahide, blah, blah, blah. Forget gear, something different. Getting closer. Here, you want to hear the secret answer? It's a good one. This is one of those really good ones. Pam Rogers, I bet $1 billion that you've somewhat heard about this. Ready? How many of you have heard of the 7 laws of Noah? How many of you have heard of the 3 laws of Noah? Anybody got 2 on this one? Airplane 2? 3 laws of Noah. How many laws of Noah are there? So, watch this. You ready for this? I want you to really pay attention to what I'm doing right now. You ready? I'm going to give you the Kishuf case in point. And after we're done explaining Kishuf, you'll understand what it was that I did right now. You ready? Remember this moment. All right? Write this down. Write this note down. I'm going to display for you Kishuf right now. But don't lose track of what we're doing. And now here's the example case in point. Please know this. You need to learn how to identify it. Are you ready? But I'm only halfway doing it because I'm teaching you something. How many laws of Noah are there? Don't try to get funny with me. Just speak straight. 7. Now, here's where I'm going to give you some Kishuf. Ready? Ready for this? No, there's not 7. There's 3. There's 3. Now, that feels a little funny, doesn't it? Now, here's where I'm going to stop doing Kishuf and I'm going to become Rabbi Katz. You want me to show you the source where it says 3? See, the Kishuf will not give you the source. They'll just say, I'm a rabbi, I know more than you, it's 3. But the bottom line is, Rabbi Katz, what sounds like Kishuf, they'll say, oh, Garrett's not used today, and da-da-da-da-da, he's making it up, and he learned. No. But there is 3 laws of Noah. Chulin 92a. Chulin 92a. Are you there? Ola Amar Elu Shloshi Mitzvahs Shekibu Aleihim B'nei Noach Ve'ein Mekaymin Ela Shlosha. The B'nai Noah accepted upon themselves only 3 mitzvot. Now we're on 92b. We turn the page. She'ein kotvin k'tuba l'zecharim. We don't write marriage contracts for gay men. Ve'achas she'ein shoiklin basar hames b'mekoilin. We don't weigh out flesh of dead guys in the market to eat. V'achas shemechvadin es hatayre. One is that they are obligated to uphold the Torah. Now, how many laws of Noah are there? According to Chula 91b and 92a and 92b, there are not 613. There are 3. No gay contracts, no cannibalism, and upholding the Torah. Now, how does that work out? No one said 613 mitzvahs. Torah mitzvahs are 2 different things. 2 different things. Please refer to my Vilna Gaon series on that. The answer that I favor, and I've spoken with Rabbi Schwartz about, is, and I've taught about this, the 3 laws of Noah are national laws. Right? A country really should have these 3 in mind. It is said that after World War II, that America upheld the 3 laws of Noah, and the British knew that, and they expected America to take over, and they did. Today, it is largely thought of by the 3 people in the world that know this law, me, Chaim Korfin, and Yoel Schwartz. Just kind of joking, but it looks like Russia has endorsed these 3 Noahide laws. Do you see that? It is illegal to be gay there. They have a menorah up in Moscow, and they're against Islam, and Islam is very much into eating the dead body parts of their victims and weird things like that. It's a lesser subset of Noahide laws, but the idea is that a ruling nation should, at the very least, maintain the 3 laws of Noah. You understand that? Now, as an individual, it does not take away the 7 laws of Noah. One is the individual, and one is the nation. And this is not a dogma. In fact, there are no laws of Noah by number. Why? Because there's no such thing as a Noahide. Ger is 7 plus 1 equals Ger. Type 1 if you understand what I'm talking about. Right? Now, there are 7 laws of Noah, but like Pam said, you can say it's categories. You can say it's like 66. You can say what Eric said, it's 613. Okay? There's many ways you can talk about it. The Masorah, the tradition, is there are 7 laws which correspond to the 7 wisdoms and 7 spheres. 7 is the number. Okay? It is the number. But is it a dogma that there's 7 and no more? Is it not 3? Okay? Is it not 1? Just like Avodah Zorah is 64b, just to simply reject Avodah Zorah, that's also a Noahide. Boker Tov. All right? Space Ghost, identify yourself. Who is this? We got the Blair family here. That's good to see. Who is everybody? Okay, good. Now, there you go. Why did I bring this up? I forget. Here's the question for Pam Rogers. Okay? Go back to 92A. What is this story about there being 30 Noahide laws? Rabbi Yehuda Oimer Elu Shloshim Tzidkei Oimisa Oilam. There are 30 righteous people from the nations in every generation. Umasa Oilam Iskaimim Aleihim. Ula Amar Elu Shloshim Mitzvahs. Shekibu Aleihim B'nai Noach. The B'nai Noach have accepted upon themselves 30 mitzvahs. You hear that? You're trying to convince me there's 7 mitzvahs when there's 30. This is the Chulin 92a. Pam, have you ever heard about that? 30 mitzvahs of Noach? Of course you have. I wrote an article about it on my blog a couple of years ago. Now, what is one of those laws? And here's, by the way, Pam Rogers, this is where you get 7 categories. Only when you look at the 30 mitzvahs of Noach, the original 7 laws of Noach become the categories for 30. Did you know that, Pam? Pam, are you there? There you go. So, now, is there a category of Avodah Zorah in the 7 laws of Noah? All right. One of the extended then mitzvahs in the 30 is kishuf, witchcraft. You see that? A real Noahide has a category of Avodah Zorah, and inside Avodah Zorah is the forbidden, what do you call it, mitzvah, whatever, to engage in witchcraft. Now, do you follow? I will now rephrase the question. Is a Jew allowed to teach a Noahide from the Talmud what is witchcraft and how to prevent it from manifesting in the world? 1 or 2. Is a Noahide expected to stand up against witchcraft? 1 or 2. Is it allowed for a rabbi to teach a Noahide from a position of witchcraft? 1 or 2. Would the Noahide be able to recognize witchcraft if it was presented in front of him? What do you think? Do you guys think you know what witchcraft is? So don't you think it's important that we learn Sanhedrin 67b to learn what is witchcraft in order for the Noahide to no longer be in a world where there's witchcraft? Thank you. Do you remember that I said to you that I'm going to do witchcraft? And I said to document that. Do you remember that? Do you then remember how I deviated from that and told you the example was over and we no longer did witchcraft? 1 or 2. Did you notice what I did when I stopped the simulation and went back to normal? What did I do? I went to the sources. I stopped manipulating and I went to the sources. 1 or 2. Now, before we go into the Talmud, I'm going to show you clearly what witchcraft is, and then we're going to learn it inside. You ready? Ready? 1 or 2. Okay. Now, here we go. I want somebody to tell me, type on your chat screen a 1 to 2 sentence Devar Torah to tell me. Please go now. Someone type 1 to 2 sentences telling me a Devar Torah, and I'm going to show you what witchcraft is. Go ahead. Let's go. Someone type. Anything. It doesn't even need to be true. This is just for a case in point. Type on your screen something in Torah to me. And pay attention to my answer. One second here. It is prohibited to interbreed animals. Well, Pam, there's 3 or 4 different opinions about that. It's not so clear in the halakhic sources, Pam. Simulation over. Pam, how do you feel about what I just did to you? Right. Why not? Why not? That's right. That's right. That's it. And in a regular life scenario, I'm not going to ask you how you felt. So no one's going to know that I even told you to shut up. 1 or 2. And we're going to move on very quickly, and no one's going to ever know anything happened. And if you talk about it, it's Lashon Hara. Yeah, I better not find you guys talking about it as it's Lashon Hara. 1 or 2. Welcome to Witchcraft. Get it? Now to go back in time. I said, how many laws of Noah are there? And you guys said, and I said, then what? There's many opinions on this, so there's 3. Now that would have been witchcraft. Only I went and I opened up the book and showed you where it was at. I backed it up. And nobody felt dumb or shut up or this or that, right? In the end, no one said anything negative. It was bringing in what's called reboy, an addition of light. No one ever said PM was wrong for saying 7. Or saying, hey, did you know there was a system of 7? There's a system of 3. There's a system of 30. There's a system of 613, right? We added to the light. And that's why it's, how many of you, probably the guys in the room, but guys in the room, Greg Maddox. How many of you remember Greg Maddox? What made Greg Maddox great? Let's just say he threw 4 different pitches. Agreed? 4 or 5 pitches. 1 or 2. What was the thing? Every pitch looked the same. Identical. Only when the pitch came out over the plate did you realize, was it a curveball, fastball, right? You had no idea what the differences were going to be. He said it all. That's it. Everything was set up the same. And that's what I'm saying I did to you, right? All Torah sets up the same, whether it's kosher or treif. You understand that? It all sets up the same. The difference is, do you lie and make up the svara, like the rabbi that gave me smicha said I did? Or, before you start the lie, do you stop, change gears, and go show you in the source? You understand? Remember me and my rabbi. He was a rabbi. I was a rabbi. He gave me smicha. He asked me a question, and I answered. What did he do? He set it up the same way. The difference was he went to the book and showed me where it was written, whereas I made up my entire test. You follow? And that was the advice he gave. Don't do it, he said. Don't do it. Everybody does it. Don't do it. So when I said how many laws of Noah are there, the pitch starts the same. That was not exactly kishuf. If I don't go to the sources and I'm speaking with authority and I give some kind of logical answer, is that then truth, emes, or kishuf? No. That's right. When you go to the source, it means that it's no longer a this or a that. It means that you're doing, and the word for this or that means mute. Either this or that. You're bringing a reboy. Right? Ger can mean Jewish convert. It can mean non-Jewish ger. Correct? That's called a reboy. More than one answer can be applicable to a certain thing. Doesn't have to be a this or that. Okay. Now, we're going to close up Chulin, and we're going to go into the Talmud. Everyone good? Rabbi Yochanan said, why are they sorcerers? Why are they called keshafim? Got that? Keshafim. Or makshafim. Makshifim. Makshifim. Pam, are you good on the spelling? 1 or 2? All right, hold on. Let's see here. Mem. What are we at here? Mem. Hold on. Makshifim. Okay? Or, without the mem, Kashifim. Wait, no, hold on. Hold on. Kashfim. That first yud. Wait a minute, what did I do here? The yud between the shin and the pei is optional. Sometimes you can put it in, sometimes you don't have to in the Hebrew grammar. Okay. Rabbi Yochanan said, why are they sorcerers? Why are they called kashafim? Do you all hear the question? See, in your English art scroll world, you're going to call it witchcraft. The Aramaic doesn't know about your art scroll. There's a word in the Torah called makshifim, and it's found in the verses in Exodus that I told you. Correct? 1 or 2? 7:11 and 7:22. Yeah? Okay. So the Talmud wants to know, why is it called that? Now, I'm going to step out once again, just for about 20 seconds. Go over your Chumash, please. The verses 7 and 11 and 22. Get yourself acquainted with that verse. I'll be right back. Okay. You guys feel good? Are you inside the verses? Let's go. Ready? 1 or 2. Good. Because they lessen the power, in the English I have divine agencies. Okay? They lessen the power of divine agencies. Shemaki, I always forget how to pronounce this. It's got like 3 chas. Shemachishin maflia. Or no, pamlia shomaila. It's very thick Aramaic. The word means, let me get the pronunciation, the Nikudot on this. I want to say it right. How do you say that? Kichesh. Shema kich. It's a hard one to pronounce. Kachish. So Shema kachish. Shema kachishin. There you go. Okay. Now, what I'm going to tell you is, what is this word panlia that they're translating as divine agencies, shomaila of above? What is this word divine agencies? These witches, witchcraft, whatever that word is, I'm not impressed with that word. That the word kashifim is that they weaken divine agencies of above. Now, first of all, let me explain to you the etymology of the word here. 7, 11, and 22. The word is, hold on. Hang on a second, Pam. Hang on a second. It's 22:17. We're going to bring those verses in a minute. But right for the moksha, the witch, 22:17. Go to 22:17. Then we're going to bring these 2 verses in a second. So the word for witch, keshafim. Okay, you with me? 1 or 2? The first 2 letters is a remez or hint to the concept of weakening, kachishin. And the last letters is a remez or hint to pamlia, the divine agencies. It's, what do you call that, a contraction? The Talmud is saying it's a contraction, right? Do not is don't, right? What do you think it means, weakening divine agencies of above? What do you think the Talmud's trying to say there? I'll give you a hint. It has a lot to do with Rabbi David Katz. You know what it is? Anyone? Bueller? Bingo. Weakening somebody's mazel. Make sense? Weakening someone's mazel. What do we say in Baba Kama? Man has mazel, an animal doesn't have mazel. Right? So if you want to really do a spin on somebody, how do you think you could do the biggest spin on a person? Or anything? Anything to any damage. What's the worst thing you can do to somebody according to this? Take away their mazel. Right? So Eric, tell me something smart. Even if it's not smart, pretend it's smart. Pretend like you just told me the most amazing, inspired thing that you ever thought of. Even just make it up. Go ahead. Really impress me. You just thought of like, wow, you just had a Sinai moment. Go ahead. Type it in. Just amazing. You just like, wow. You can't believe it. Wow. I got to tell the whole world. Go ahead. I'm a Viking by ancestry. Well, probably not, because the Vikings were fabricated by the Greek Empire, the Greek Empire, and therefore it couldn't have been. And they say that the Greeks were actually invaded by the Turks. What do you got to say about that? The point is, if you're going to argue, right, I'm going to get very defensive, and I'm going to say it's written in the Torah. It's written. It's written. You follow me? The bottom line is, that's exactly the point, is it's a creepy thing to do. All it is an attack. So we don't have time to go over these things in our class, Pam. I'm sorry. Maybe another time, another discussion. You see how it works? Just smash up the mazel. You see the attack? Smash the mazel. Obliterate it. You follow? That's witchcraft. That is how it works. Now, obviously, someone who's good at it is going to be very polished. Right? The more polished and manipulative you are, the more successful and undercover you go. This is the classic thing. So that is what the Talmud's saying it is. Let's keep going. So the Talmud says there's none other besides him. Hold on a second. I'll give you a story. Then it comes back. Ready? So now it's going to help define it. Now here comes your verses, Pam. Okay? 7:11 and 7:22. Now, in the Hebrew, the Talmud doesn't have vowels, so I don't know how the vowels go. But let me tell you what the proof is. How many of you have seen in Genesis when Adam is kicked out of the garden, Hashem put the Kruvim, the angels of destruction, and the flame of the sword that turns to guard the way of the path of the tree of life, type 1 or 2. Okay. The flame of the sword that turns. That comes from the Hebrew root lahat. Okay? So they're saying there's two words here. Belatihim, belahatihim. One has an extra letter hey. Can you understand the concept? I don't want to get into the grammar pilpul here. There's two words. The only difference is one has a letter hey, whereas the other one doesn't. Type 1 or 2. It's based on 7:11 and 7:22. Go ahead and look in Pam. Look in your verses, everybody. In 22, Look at the word. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at the fifth word. Type 1 when you've identified the fifth word. Go ahead. Type 1 when you've identified the fifth word. Keep your finger there. Turn to page, verse number 11, okay? And identify 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The 11th word, the second to last word of the line. 7-11, second to last word of the line. Type 1 when you've got it. Got it? 1 or 2? Now compare the difference between those two words. Do you see the extra letter hey? 1 or 2? Everybody, let's go. Pam? We're looking in the Hebrew here, Lars. In the Hebrew. In the Hebrew. You don't have to know, you don't have to understand what you're reading. Just look at the differences in the words. 7-11 and 7-22. In 11, the second to last word. And in 22, the fifth word. Type 1 when you got it. In 11, the second to last word. In 22, the fifth word. Type 1 when you got it. All you're doing is comparing the words. You should see one extra letter hey. No, Pam. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. No. That's the fourth word. Fifth word. V'yasu, Ken, Khartoumi, Mitzrayim, Bilatehem. The three-letter word in verse 11 is extra. Where's that? 3. Shmos 22:11 and Shmos 22:7. Or no, sorry. Shmos 7:22. Shmos 7:11. Again, in 11, the second to last word in the verse. In 22, it is the fifth word in Hebrew. It starts with the letter bet. Yeah. Who's that? Eric Bryan's got it. Where you at, Pam? Okay. The point is, do you see the extra letter hey? That's the only thing that's the only mission here. There's an extra letter hey. Good. Now, with that said, when you have the one without the hey, now think about it. Think about the verse, right? The wise men of Egypt, they're doing all their song and dance, correct? And there's no letter hey. They are doing witchcraft by using demons, are agents of creation, right? But basically, they're using the wisdom of creation to make sleight of hand. You follow me? I mean, I don't know. I can try to think of, I don't know, whatever kind of stuff some people do. I don't know. Black magic, just using physical creation to fool you. And in the other verse, where there's the extra letter hey, they're not using anything in creation but themselves. Right? They are the witch. They are the thing itself. Got me? Therefore, somebody, one second, the copy I'm not ashamed. Someone who uses an implement, I don't know, for all you conspiracy theorists, how many of you have heard of the thing about Obama has a weird wedding ring? It supposedly has some kind of like Arabic words on it, right? And you see he never is without that ring. So that would be what's called, he's always using a vessel. And then there are people that don't require a vessel. Okay? All right. That is the linguistic elements of witchcraft. Can we continue? One or two? And I've already defined what it means to take away someone's mazel as the focus of someone's witchcraft, right? Rashi, what does it mean that they use demons? Shadim, right? Shinistar, like the hidden, it's the hidden parts of the world. Quantum physics, quantum, just hidden things that you don't see, right? It's like I don't know, what's a good scam? A scam, right? They see you coming. You know what? I read about this on the internet. People that pick pockets, you know what they do? They put a sign up that says, "Hey, everybody, people are known to get their pockets picked here. Make sure your pocket is your wallet's in your pocket." What does everyone do? They check their pockets. So what does the guy do? You now just showed him where your wallet is, so he picks your pocket. You understand? One or two. We're not making any conclusions on the letters. At this point, it is just a fact that letters are missing. Okay, and certain people that are sneaky, they use physical elements to trick you. Watch your wallet. Next thing you know, I took your wallet. One or two. Okay. The Aina Nirin, and then you don't see it. You never saw it coming. So this is when it's written without the hey, and they're using the wisdoms of creation to manipulate against you. David Blaine. When it has the extra letter hey, she'enu oisei al yedei shedim ela miatzmo. He doesn't use the forces of creation against you. He's a one-man show, one-man band. Okay? And this is the idea of the tree of life, that in order to eat from the real Kabbalah, the real wisdom, you have to see through the sheker, the falsehood of this world. The kruvim, are the destructive angels, and the flame of the sword that turns. Those that can manipulate forces and those that manipulate you. Do you understand that? The world is created that it can manipulate you. Right? There's something called a wallet, and it goes into a pocket, and I can make a sign. And the street corner shop owner lets me put my sign up. Do you see how I'm manipulating the forces of creation? You have to walk by here every day because you go by the subway. You see what I'm saying? You are a victim of creation. And I'm going to manipulate you. I'm going to put a sign up that says, watch your wallet. So that way you tell me where your wallet is, and then I can easily take it. Follow? Like taking candy from a baby. Again, this is how magic works. David Copperfield stuff, isn't it? It just takes the way of the world and it manipulates you. And some people can do it very maliciously, and some people don't. Then there's the way of just manipulating from himself for his own pure entertainment. It's like when I go to a store in Israel and I want to buy a new speaker for my computer, all right? And the guys, I say, hey, what do you think about this one? What do you think about this brand? He lies to me. And he gets me to buy a dodgy computer speaker system. And I'm saying, why? Why do you want to trick me? And this is what they do. It's just like Yetzer Hara. Some people are swindlers, one or two. You know, it's like they see you coming. Why can't you just be honest with me and tell me the thing that I need? You know, I just bought a pair of headphones about a month ago for the travels that I'm going to do this season, right? I thought, wow, wouldn't that be great to get a Bluetooth headphone? Sounds good, doesn't it? What's my problem? The package was opened. I was being an idiot. I didn't realize that the worker in the store swindled me. I should have known that the package was opened. Somebody obviously returned it, whatever it was, and I got swindled. Why? Why can't you just not sell me the broken earphones? Would that be a better way of running the world? Why do you have to sell me the broken earphones? Okay. So the concept, I'm losing my voice a little bit. It's getting hard to talk, but there's two main ingredients to witchcraft outside of what we've already said. You ready? This is explained by the Marsha and Rashi from other places. It's a manipulation of your eyeballs. If you don't see it happening, you are being manipulated. One or two. One or two. Isn't this how spyware works in your computer? Right? It enters, you don't know it. It's either non-malicious or it's taking your credit card information. One or two. So, if you type now for me a Devar Torah, and I'm so quick that nobody noticed the swindle, is that kishuf? And you have to be able, if you can't articulate it and call me out, and I transition, what are you going to do about it? Right? Pam Rogers just told me that the sky is blue, and I'm going to tell you, Pam Rogers, there's three opinions. By the way, did you hear about what Rashi said in Tosfos? Good. So the Baba Kama says, who are you going to tell, Pam? Who are you going to tell? It went so fast, and I transitioned so fast, who are you going to tell? Well, that's it. So I'm obligated by the hands of heaven, but the based in below, no one ever heard. And if you talk about me on Facebook, they're going to say that you're just speaking Lashon Hara. What are you going to do? Say, Rabbi Katz said I was wrong about the sky being blue. This is how people get ripped off. Because the sleight of hand is so fast and so micro, how can you complain? I thought there was one opinion. Rabbi Katz told me there was three opinions, and the next thing I know, we were talking about Tosfos. Who are you going to tell? Who are you going to complain to? Exactly. Exactly. And I'll bury your face in the mud just for spite to make sure you know that. So the other way is, this is Rashi, and the Hebrew is a little bit backwards. Let me explain to you. If God says someone is to live, by a decree of heaven, the makshif comes and says that person really is obligated to die. A goy that keeps Shabbos is chayav misa. A non-Jew that keeps Shabbos is obligated to die. How do you feel? Is that kishuv? Based on the crowd. If it's a real idolater, it's a different story. Right? If it is a goy, it's a goy. 100%. But what if it's a ger? Does God say the ger in that situation should live? One or two. So the innocent ger comes to rabbi and says, hey, can't I keep Shabbos? I.e., the ger is saying, don't I live? One or two. And if I say, no, Eric, you die. By definition, that is kishuv. Now, it can also be ignorance. Right? A lot of people just don't know. That's what we call the party line. And the party line might be right. If it really is an idolater, okay. So maybe it's a true statement. Maybe it's ignorance. But it might be kishuv. How would you know the difference? That's just me asking you now. I'm just curious. How would you know the difference? Does it crush the mazel all the same? Well, that's the point. If you're a ger, it means you left idolatry, right? You've grown up, you want to live, and you have mazel. You're saying, I'm in touch with my soul. That's what you're saying. If a ger is saying, hey, I'm in touch with my soul. And I'm saying, you don't have a soul. You're a goy. You're an idolater. That is the death of the mazel. Because I'm going to make you believe you are actually no different than that cow. And if you fall down, you may die. But a person in touch with their soul, everyone has a soul. But the point is, you're in touch with your soul. Now, not only do you not die like an animal, you live like a divine being. Now, again, there's three reasons why I could do this. Either I am right and you really are a goy and you're tricking me, which, look, Christians do that. It's my job to know, is this person a Christian, a Noahide? It's my job to know who you are. Ignorance, just party line it. Or is there a level of kishuv? Do you see how the responsibility is on both sides of the fence here? I have to know who you are, and that's a challenge on the rabbi side. We see it. We see that challenge every day. But what upsets me more is the non-Jew has to know it on his side too. And frankly, it's one of the 7 mitzvahs, as we've shown, through the 30. Correct, Amundo? You got to know who's teaching you. I got to know who I'm teaching. That's really the whole relationship of the Jew and non-Jew in one foot. And everyone's all afraid, how can you teach Torah to the Goyim? You're right, I don't teach Christians. You're absolutely right. I don't believe in teaching Christians. You don't see me in Christian forums. You don't see me in church, right? Which I'm very skeptical to those that do go into churches and do that. It's very strange to me. We don't know what it means. That's the thing. I don't know what kishuv is. We're going to end, when the class ends today, we're going to try to figure that out. What in my simple terms, what kishuv is swindling, conniving, deceiving, character assassination, either for fun, out of ignorance, party line. It's translated as witchcraft. I don't know if that's what it is. I don't even know what witchcraft means. I really don't. We're going to find out here in a minute. So it's either switching someone's fate or it's concealing their eyes. Here's an example of how to conceal it from your eyes. You ready? There's a silent Holocaust going on today with assimilation, correct? Yada, 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 111. Go ahead, 111. And we know that there's a lot of intermarriage and things and blah and ding and dong. 1111, right? And probably not even 1 million people died in the Holocaust. Let's keep going now. Let's talk about the spiritual Holocaust, okay? You understand? It's presented as Torah fact, and I did not show you in front of your eyes. In fact, I will tell you the statistics say 80% weren't Jewish. You see now in current affairs of what's going on? If you're going to make a statement that profound, then you better show some serious facts in the black and white. If you're going to prove your entire thesis, then my eyeballs need to see what you're saying. One or two. You understand me? You need to see it. If your major proof is, hey, just trust me, let's move on. No. Can't be. Now, what if I said it like this? Look, everybody, it is, in my opinion, only 1 million people died in whatever big world event, blah, blah, blah. It's a svara. I gave a svara. What do you walk away with? I just told you a svara. Blah, 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 svara, 1 million, blah, 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 svara. It's my opinion. Can I be a rabbi and give you my opinion? Yeah. But just understand, I'm not the kind of rabbi then that gives you the sources in the black and white. I'm the rabbi that gives you svara. And that's your prerogative if you want to go to a rabbi that gives you svara. Because remember, I got smicha that day. He didn't check my work from then on out. He doesn't call me every day asking if I look up sources. And I walked out of his office, and I had a choice. I can either give svara or look it up. How many of you have a job? Type 1 if you're employed. Type 1 if you were employed to do a specific requirement level of your job. If there's expectations of your job, go ahead, type 1. Now type 1 or 2. Can you conceive of you underachieving at your job if you wanted to? Can you all think of a good yetzer hara you can do to not do a good job? Lars, I want you to sleep in tomorrow. Don't go to work, okay? Just go out and have a couple drinks and sleep in. And call your boss and say, hey, what could I do? It was party time. I couldn't say no. Can you do that? Are there people in the world that do it? Are there people that do it? Yeah. So every profession has it. Okay, I'm going to give class tomorrow. And I'm going to promise you right now that I'm going to prepare for that class, okay? I'm going to prepare. I promise. But tonight, I'm going to go out and have some drinks with my friends, okay? Tomorrow comes class time. I didn't prepare. I'm sorry about that. I didn't prepare. So I know the main point, though. I was going to talk about how the sky is blue and there's a lot of fantastic birds in the sky. Okay? It's really great. And I'm going to tell you that the eagle is so great, it flies really high. Really high. And in the back of my mind, I can't remember where I read it. Was it Tehillim? Was it Perek Shira? I don't know. I just don't know. But I'm not going to tell you that. So I don't want you to know, I don't want you to hear me say okay? I don't want you to know that I'm saying So when I forgot the Torah source, this is what I'm going to do. It's like on the nature shows on YouTube. Have you guys seen the nature shows on YouTube? And they have, videos. You can see it. Go to YouTube and type in how eagles fly high. And there's an eagle that flies so high that it sheds its wings, and then it comes down to hunt its prey. The eagle is a very divine creature. It's one of the 4 animals on the Kisei HaKavod, the throne of glory of Hashem. And now we're going to move on to the next topic. Did you just hear me give you the kishuf? Where was the kishuf? Who knows the kishuf I just did? No, I gave you a very specific kishuf. Very specific kishuf. How many of you have seen the video on Facebook of an eagle that does this weird stuff, and it's fantastic, and then people say it was a Snopes? You know Snopes? It was a fake video. No, watch this. Watch this. By the way, it is on God's throne, Pam. That was not kishuf. On the throne of glory, there's 4 images: a man, an ox, an eagle, and a lion in Kabbalah. And the man is the image of Jacob. 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to show you this thing. Check that link. Go ahead. You guys see it? What are you confused about, Eric? Exactly. Because I watched it on YouTube, and then I didn't get the Snopes message in time, and then I didn't do my research, okay? In Judaism, the eagle is a special animal, but I didn't do the research. I don't know why. And before I got the Snopes, I told you a story about this eagle in this video, right? Because it came on my wall, and I was watching on my phone before my lecture. Because I was traveling. I was driving to my lecture, and an hour beforehand, this came up, and I said, wow, this is amazing. I have a class tonight about eagles. I can use this. And I didn't get the Snopes message in time. It's exactly it. Now, if I would have done my research, I wouldn't have had to rely on a Facebook post as a proof to why eagles are special. Do you follow me? This is where the link I just posted is the eagle on the Kisei HaKavod, the throne of glory. It's a Kabbalistic thing. I know it's in Hebrew. I didn't find a good copy in English because it's not common in English. Point is, it's there. You understand now? So, how did I get onto that? Where's my train of thought on this? Wait, hold on. Where I was going with this? Basically, it comes from not preparing, and then drawing from information that is simply not true. That's what it was. I wanted to prove to you that the eagle is good, right? Eagle is good. Eagle's good. King David, it's all good. But I don't know how. You hear my problem? I don't know how eagles are good. I want you to know that eagles are good. If I just come and say, hi, everybody, just drove in, or how about this? Hi, everybody, I just flew in, and boy, are my arms tired, right? And we're here, ironically, to talk about eagles, and they're great. Thanks for coming out. See you next time. Can't do that. I can't lecture for 30 seconds, can I? But I literally don't know why the Eagle's great. I'm sorry, I forgot. I just forgot. And you don't need to know my private life to know why I forgot. None of your business. Therefore, I don't want you to contact me. I don't want to ever see you in my life ever again. So to make sure that you don't grill me, okay, I'm going to tell you a little story. And then what happens is it gets posted, and now you have an ethical dilemma. Are you going to grill me? Or are you going to swallow your pride? Are you going to research it? Right? And if it comes out the video is false, are you going to call me on it? What are the chances of all of my videos being false? Well, Pam, you better watch it, because if you do call me out, I'm going to say you're speaking Lashon Hara. How do you like that? You don't want to speak Lashon Hara, do you? You understand the kishuf here? You can't contact me privately, Eric Bryan, because I don't answer emails. I'm bigger than you and everybody you know. Now who are you going to tell, Eric? I'm going to make you talk about it on Facebook. And then you're going to be called a bad guy who just speaks Lashon Hara. Maybe I'll even ban you and block you because you're bad. Welcome to Kishuf, everybody. Do you see how we live in the world of Kishuf? It's very common. It's everywhere. Not fun. Misinformation. Avodah Zorah. It's idolatry. And the Ger are the ones that represent removing idolatry from this world. The problem is, who, like we started saying, who are you going to tell? How in the world do you convey what you've seen tonight, what you already knew? I didn't tell you anything new. How do you tell somebody this? You see how there's nothing to grab onto? You see how slippery all this is? It is why Gerim have that instinct. You see how it's too hard to grab onto? You can't bring me down. Not one of you can bring me down in this talk tonight. I can wiggle and squirm, okay? Even if you all, I admit it to you all right now, I'm a liar, I made this up. Who are you going to tell? Well, how would you prove this? He gave us a video about an eagle and it was fake. I mean, it's ridiculous. You'll sound dumber than me. This is what drives me nuts. Now, if you bring a source, yeah, the eagle special, King David, Psalms 24:5. Now, what's the kishuf on that? We're not going to look it up because we don't believe the source. Did you look it up? Why would I look it up? It's probably wrong. You see? Kishuf, sleight of hand, deception of the eyes, taking away the mazel. There you have it. Welcome to Kishuf. Now, I am curious. I want to know what witchcraft means. Let's look that up now. Turn this into a bit of a Mishlei class. Ready? Follow me on your browsers. Witchcraft. I want to know what this means. Merriam. I'm going to give you a link here in a second. Remember, ArtScroll translates it as witchcraft every time. Let's see here. Magical things that are done by witches, the use of magical powers obtained especially from evil spirits. So the first thing we said works, where you employ creation, right? So when I pick your pocket, I'm a witch. One or two. One or two. The answer is one. Now, the use of sorcery or magic communication with the devil or with a familiar, an irresistible influence or fascination. There you go. There you go. Art Scroll wins on this one. It is witchcraft. There it is. There's your definition, Pam Rogers. There it is. See? The power to emanate an irresistible influence or fascination. Hey, don't you guys want to hear a story about how I talked to a dead guy and then I found the truth of Torah that way? You want to hear my story? This is how I came back to Judaism. I found a dead guy. And I'm like, hey, are you dead? And he said, yeah. Did you put on tefillin? I said, no. Why would I do that? He said, well, I came back. I'm talking to you from the other side. And I'm on the dead side. And I saw that everyone wears tefillin that's holy. Wow, so should I wear tefillin? Yeah. Okay, thanks. So now I wear tefillin. Go me. I'm pretty awesome. I wear tefillin every day now. There's all kinds of stories like this. I know a lot of people. We all came to the truth by dead people, and there's all kind of people that you can consult, and that's how you know the Torah's true, because dead people say so, and it's really interesting. I even went back and talked to their family and friends, and they were like, "Hey, are you wearing tefillin?" I'm like, "Yeah." You see my point, guys? Sensationalism. This is what people want to hear, unfortunately. Rather than hearing Rashi and Tosfos, this is what they want to hear. Right? Rather than hearing the wisdom from Hashem in the Torah revealed, because the Torah is amazing, I'd rather hear about a guy that wears tefillin because a dead guy told him it's really good. Now do you see why I want to pull my hair out every single day? And again, what are you going to do? Are you going to talk Lashon Hara and make fun of the guy who talks to dead guys because he has a really amazing story? Are you going to be the one guy, the troll on that thread who says, I'm not impressed by dead guys? Are you going to be that person? Because if you are, you're going to get attacked. You know, go ahead and put on the thread. I'm a little bit suspect of dead guys telling guys to do mitzvahs. They'll say, he's a tzaddik. Who are you to say Lashon Hara? Obviously, he's a tzaddik because God gave him back to this world. With me? Now, what's the kishuf? What's the kishuf? When somebody was supposed to live and you say they were supposed to die. Do you see how distorting life and death is kishuf? And you see, what is the major thing people do? Right? I talked to spirits. A dead person came in my dream. I remember so many shows on TV as a kid like this. Right? Ouija boards, the occult. I remember my past life experience. It's everywhere. If you know, I did an experiment last night on Facebook for those that were in Mishlei. Right? I went to Facebook and I said, I hate blue. Did you guys see that post? I hate blue. Dumbest post ever made in my life. Yeah, it was an experiment from Mishlei. Right? And I told people it was an experiment from Mishlei. What did they do? They fed into it. I'm not going to do. But imagine right now, if I went to Facebook and said, hey, everybody, I decided to tell my tshuva story. I came to tshuva because I saw at the end of the light at the end of the tunnel, my dead uncle said, Dave, did you put on tefillin? And I woke up and I put on tefillin. If I posted that right now to Facebook, do you realize the response we would get? Do you realize this? I'm not going to do it. I'm so tempted to do it, but I won't do it. But you I would love to. In my younger days, I would have done it. That's why I would have done it. You know, that's the thing. I would have. Absolutely, I would have, because this is what I do. I am not a fan of kishuf at all. Anyways, this is the class, guys. You understand now? This is Kishiv. Our job is to defend against it, spot it, and not fall for it. My job is to not do it to you, and your job is to not let me do it to you. Right? I always tell the story about my first Noahide class. Right? I taught the Torah of Shem. First question, Rabbi Katz, can we keep Shabbos? You guys have heard the story? I've told it a billion times. You heard it? Rabbi Katz, can we keep Shabbos? Ross Bearden asked me that in the Torah of Shem class. So now I have a choice. Do I lie and say, well, Ross, you're a nice goy, but a goy to keep Shabbos is chayav misa? Did I ever look it up at that time? Never looked it up. I had no idea it was the Rambam, right? Never saw it in my life. I've heard it 20 billion times. If I repeat that party line at that time, I just did Kishiv. You understand why? Well, Ross, you're a nice guy, but unfortunately, no, you can't keep Shabbos. The goy that keeps Shabbos is chayav misa. Took away his mazel, told him he has to die, didn't let him live, and I just manipulated his eyeballs. He will never see the Rambam, at least not under my teaching. Now, you could say I would have been ignorant, right? That's why people go, that's exactly why. You could say I was ignorant. So you can't blame me. What are you going to say? Rabbi Katz was ignorant? And if I'm just a party liner, then you also can't blame me. But what if I was malicious? Then we have a problem. And if I wasn't malicious, where did the party line come from? Where did the ignorance come from? Now, you don't crusade me, okay? Because everyone's going to look bad, but we cannot deny the problem. I heard a new Kiruv rabbi on the internet a couple weeks ago. They asked him a fantastic question. Now, usually the question is, Rabbi, me as the Noahide ger, whatever, can I keep the Shabbat? Right? You guys hear that question a lot? I'm a goy, I'm a non-Jew, blah, blah, blah. Can I keep Shabbos? You know how the question was asked this time? Somebody was listening to one of my classes because they asked the question, can a non-Jew keep a non-Jewish Shabbos? You hear that? You hear that question? What do you think the answer was? A non-Jew that keeps a Shabbos is chayav misa. You see it? Totally just pulled the wool over your eyes. You ask me non-Jew, non-Jewish Shabbos. I respond, Jewish Shabbos. Kishuv. Kishuv. No, I just bamboozled you. I changed your own question. You said non-Jewish, non-Jew, non-Jewish Shabbos. I responded Jewish Shabbos. Your eyes just got the wool over them. Move on, next topic. I am probably the only person on planet Earth that caught that rabbi who did that. One or two. And the specifics. Now imagine if I go to Facebook and say such and such rabbi basically lied to this person. What will they say about me? He speaks Lashon Hara. He's a Russia. How could he do that? Everyone knows a goy can't keep Shabbos. Now that we open it up like that, there'll be like 3 Gerim who are going to defend me, right? And then the real bloodbath starts. Should we be teaching these Goyim Torah? I don't know about this. Then some people say, don't we have to be a light to nations? Not like this. They can't keep Shabbos. In the end, was anybody ever saying that the non-Jew keeps Shabbos? There'd be a whole fight on Facebook. I could literally make this fight right now if I wanted to. Right? 1 or 2. Forget the goy part. More subtle. He says non-Jew, non-Jewish Shabbos. Answer was Jewish Shabbos. I go out and I say, you're an unscholar party liner speaking negative kishuf on the ger. Could you imagine the eruption that would start if I did that? And then once you guys start defending it, ooh, that would be ugly. And in the end, nobody acknowledged the question. Nobody. 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 They would all be arguing over kishuf. And if I were to go and say, hi, everybody, thanks for the bloodbath. This was a great example of witchcraft. Could you imagine the bloodbath that would happen then? Rabbi Katz says this is witchcraft. Could you imagine it? Could you imagine it? Don't be absurd. He's ridiculous. Is he even a rabbi? This is dumb. That's not witchcraft. And then I say, well, did you turn to Sanhedrin 67b? Yeah, I opened it up. I didn't see anything you were talking about. It doesn't even mention mazel. You follow me? Rabbi Katz makes it up. It doesn't say mazel anywhere there. Then the next question is, did you open it up? Yeah, I looked it up. Me and my rabbi learned it together. In the art scroll or the Hebrew? With me? Well, the art scroll. What, but the art scroll got it wrong? Are you saying you know more than art scroll? Are you saying you know more? Are you saying my rabbi doesn't know? Do you see now how it's a fantastic story? How is it that sheker is so easy and emes is so hard to convey, yet everybody can learn the truth if they want to? It's almost impossible to defend the truth. It's simple to explain the truth. Sheker is easy to spread, but nobody can defend the sheker. It's insane. It's insane. Sheker is falsehood. And look at this. You realize how many people on the planet understand kishuf? Maybe 5, and they're all in this room right now. Is that not a ridiculous statement? Do you realize how ridiculous this is? Like 5 people in the world know what kishuf is. Why? Number 1, who in their right mind studies witchcraft in the Talmud in a kosher way? Number 2, Jews don't focus on that mitzvah. Who focuses on it? Noahites. But only a Noahide that understands the 30 mitzvahs, because that's where it's written. Now, everyone's seen it in Sanhedrin. They've read it. They can maybe talk about it. But we're talking about know it. Now, I don't claim to know everything. But what I do claim is if I'm going to look it up and know it, I might as well know it and be prepared and not give a svara, rather look up the sources. It just is so that in our generation, kishuf is not exactly what people are looking up on this type of depth, where they're going to give a 2-hour lecture on it to a bunch of non-Jews. That's it. This is life, guys. The bottom line is it's mazel, and Pam is special. She has talents that nobody has. And Eric is special. He has talents that nobody has. And same with Lars and Loretta. Okay? You're all created to do your job. Nobody can do it like you. You all know things that nobody else knows. It's called wisdom and mazel. No one knows it better than you. I made a post on Facebook last night. What is ger? Collective wisdom. There's enough wisdom in the world that everybody has an expertise in a specialty that no one else knows on the level that you do. As long as you're not giving your truth, then somebody else is lying about it in your name. You want proof? Ger's convert. Ger's convert. There's one rabbi on this planet teaching that Ger is not convert necessarily. One. In the last 2,000 years, one. How is that possible? Now, it's not something I made up. There are many people that support the Ger movement. Many people understand it. But what's the difference? Are you bringing the sources, or are you doing svara? Many people can give svara, and they have. They've done good work. Lots of good work. At the end of the day, the sources are coming out of Rabbi David Katz on Ger. Now, I didn't write those sources. They were written a long time ago. Right? I'm not the first person to dig these sources out. Rav Kook brought them out in the state of Israel. Rav Schwartz brought them out when he started the Noahide stuff. Rav Nachman of Breslov brought them out, right? This is a generational thing. That's it. Most came over the top. Look, I lie to people all the time, right? If you ask me a question in Torah, as long as I'm in moron man, I'm probably going to give you a svara and skim over the top without thinking about it. We all do it. But where the Gerim are special is they challenge you. Because they're nice, and they say, hey, that's great, Rabbi Katz, but can you bring me a source for that? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry about that. Let me look it up. Can you email me, and I'll look it up? That's all. We all make mistakes. The answer is don't do witchcraft from intention. Don't get accustomed to being lazy. Everyone that goes to my Mishlei class knows that you're lazy. We're all lazy. You have no choice but to be lazy. But you are given an opportunity to wake up. You're given an opportunity to get your mind in gear. That's why there's women for men, right? In marriage, right? You know, honey, did you take out the garbage? No, I didn't. Oh, yeah? You want to do that right about now? Oh, yeah, I forgot. I sure do. That's right. How'd you know? I forgot that I wanted to do that right now in the middle of the football game. You're right. Absolutely. I want to take out the garbage. 100%. One or two. Right? It's called the Yetzer Hara. We all have one. Laziness. You have a body. Right? Your soul is put in a body. You're expected to do tshuva and work on yourself. As long as you're not working on yourself, you're lazy. Laziness brings kishuf. Right? I can go out drinking and not prepare my lecture because I'm a smart guy and I can just make it up as I go and it doesn't matter because I'm interesting and I'm famous and you'll appreciate me anyways and you'll spread my links on YouTube and Facebook, right? And you'll never know. And if you call me out on it, you're a liar and you're doing Lashon Hara. I mean, isn't this the way the world works? How many of you have a boss over you at work? One or two. How many of you could theoretically call your boss out if you really wanted to, in theory, for being lazy? And that's why I didn't do good in the workplace. You know, it's just hypocrisy. You know, you're the new guy, and if you do something bad, we hate you. But the boss does it, you're supposed to comply. Double standards. I remember in high school, I used to say, it's not a democracy. You can't do whatever you want. I've had nice bosses too. I've had some really good bosses. And I've had some bad bosses. The point is, this is the world we live in. It's the world of Asiya. It's the world that has a lot of evil in it. There's a lot of good in it too. And this is why the path to the tree of life in the Garden of Eden goes through this. Not only do you have to not do avodah zarah yourself, not only do you have to not let people do avodah zarah to you, not only do you have to identify avodah zarah in the world, you have to eliminate avodah zarah in other people. You want to hear gear on one foot? Don't get into witchcraft. That's gear on one foot. Eat from the tree of life and live forever by ridding the world of witchcraft, which was a punishment of the exile of Babylon due to the falling down of Solomon's temple. Capiche? That's what this is about. And again, this is the class of Job. No one's pointing fingers. Not blaming party liners, not blaming the ignorant. Not even so much as blaming the malicious. It's God's design of this world. Our job is to rise up, take it out of our own selves, defeat it, and eat of the tree of life, and appreciate the glory of God. One or two. And we're here to refine ourselves and our character traits. We started the class talking about anger, right? When you don't have revelation, it doesn't give you the excuse to be angry at people that do kishuf. In the recent state of affairs on Facebook, you've seen what happens when someone does kishuf and people get angry at them. Was that productive? That could make you guys feel good? No, it was horrible. That's why I'm really upset. Because I listened to the attacks on that rabbi, and I might have my opinions. And you heard my opinions on the radio show. But people that were calling in the radio shows and attacking him, they weren't even attacking him the right way, and they were just angry. And then what did he do? He wiggled out of it with more kishuf. And what did they do? They got angrier. And they attacked and pointed fingers more. But they missed the mark every single time. One or two. Every single attack missed. No one called it for what it is. That's Lashon Hara, or you're a Noahide. Everyone's missing the mark. Call it for what it is. That takes scholarship, education, and sources, and not svara. You see how now we're going round and round and round? This is what it is. It's not about getting angry at the rabbi that tells you the party line. Even though I like to get angry at those people, but I'm working on myself. We have to rise up and call it for what it is. But until you can articulate it, you can't do that. That's why it's painful. Because we all see it, we know what's going on, but if you call it out ahead of time, you're just angry, not refined, and you're going to get attacked, and you're going to attack, and it's going to be a bloodbath. And a chilul Hashem and painful. We are here to do Kiddush Hashem. Kiddush Hashem is saying Eino Milvado. There's only God. There's not Elohim Acherim, other gods. Which, by the way, is the gematria Moshe, which gives a nice picture about the golden calf episode. So how do you beat it? How do you defend it? Wisdom. Know it. Right? Use good judgment. Know how to handle yourself in these situations. Most of the time, it's ignorance or party line. In the current state of affairs, it is my belief, it is also ignorance and party line. I don't think it's a diabolical scheme on the level of, the worst. I don't think that's where it's coming from. The people that are the worst, they're not interested in whether or not you're keeping Shabbos. Right? It's a much more sadistic thing and has nothing to do with a non-Jew keeping Shabbos. It has to do with things that are much worse in the world, that, government stuff and things like that. ISIS and stuff like that. That's real bad stuff. But that's obvious. And then the fact that the governments don't take care of it, and then it's a different issue, and you're not going to fix that you know, in the conventional way. That requires spiritual warfare, and that's what we're doing. And those people, then you rise up spiritually. But in terms of on the local front, it's just party line and ignorance. Whoever heard of gear before? I never heard of gear. It's convert. So until people get that, there's going to be a lot of kishuf. It's not meant to hurt. But the problem is it's a clipper that does hurt. At the end of the day, it does hurt. It does hurt. It hurts me when I see it. You guys all know that. That's Job. Job was in pain. All right? Your pain is nothing like Job's pain. He had the Sutton Mamish on him. He stuck with it, and in the end, God gave him the revelation. Thank you for tuning in to this week's Torah of Shem / Torah Job. Hope you appreciated it. Hope you understand what kishuf is. And there's a lot of things said here. All I can say is, like we say in Yeshiva, Vaitin and Shas and Paiskin. You continue going forward. Do what you got to do. Make a Kiddush Hashem in the world. Be aware of the Chilul Hashem. Pray to God. There's none other but God. None other but God. And we're all on this path, walking with God. And you have to trust in God. And He will bring us through it. And B'ezrat Hashem, we'll see a redemption and the merits of all of the people with souls in this world, Jews and non-Jews. We might not all get along right about now, but in the end we will. It's prophetically told we will. So we got to get from A to B, and that's our job. And we're going to do it by hitting the nail on the head and calling it for what it is and making God proud. I'll close on this note. When I was a closer of B'tshuva, and I wanted to know what Judaism was, I went to a Chabad rabbi, Rabbi Rifkin of Tampa, Florida, and I said, "What is Judaism?" And he said, "David comes to us today with a question of what is Judaism, and Judaism is honoring God." And I'm going to echo those words. Judaism is about honoring God. Amen.